How the authorities tracked them down using surveillance footage and pharmacy records. The three teens who robbed pharmacies across the GTA thought they were smart. They wore masks and gloves, used an imitation firearm, and targeted pharmacies that had safes with time delays. They hoped to get away with cash and narcotics, but they didn't count on the authorities being smarter. The police were on their trail from the start. They linked the robberies to a stolen vehicle that was used by the suspects. They also collected surveillance footage and pharmacy records from each crime scene. They analyzed the footage and identified the suspects' physical features, clothing, and patterns of behavior. They cross-referenced the records and found out what drugs they were after. The police then launched an extensive investigation called Project Mayhem that concentrated on armed robberies across the GTA. They tracked down the suspects' whereabouts and followed them closely. They waited for the right moment to strike. On May 15, 2023, the suspects pulled up to a pharmacy in Pickering, wearing masks and gloves. They were about to commit another robbery, but they didn't know that the police were watching them. As soon as they entered the pharmacy, the police moved in and arrested them. They recovered the stolen vehicle, the imitation firearm, and some of the stolen drugs. The three teens, two 17-year-olds and a 15-year-old, were charged with multiple counts of robbery with an imitation firearm, disguise with intent, and possession of property obtained by crime. They cannot be named under the Youth Criminal Justice Act. The police praised their teamwork and coordination in solving the case. They also thanked the public for their cooperation and assistance. They said that this was a clear example of how the authorities can track down criminals using surveillance footage and pharmacy records. The three teens who robbed pharmacies across the GTA were not only caught by the authorities, but also faced serious legal consequences and public backlash for their crimes. The teens were arrested on May 15, 2023, after police surveillance revealed that they were operating a stolen vehicle and attempting to rob another pharmacy in Pickering. They were charged with 6 counts of robbery with an imitation firearm, 6 counts of disguise with intent, and possession of property obtained by crime over $5,000. The suspects cannot be named under the provisions of the Youth Criminal Justice Act. The teens were part of a larger group of youths who targeted 8 pharmacies in Mississauga and 6 in Brampton from Dec. 2022 to Jan. 2023. The robberies were part of an extensive investigation by Toronto police called Project Mayhem that concentrated on armed robberies across the GTA. Many of the thefts involved youths who wore masks and demanded cash and narcotics from the pharmacy staff. The robberies caused fear and anxiety among the pharmacy workers and customers, who were threatened with a handgun by the suspects. Some of the victims suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder and had to seek counseling. The robberies also disrupted the supply of essential medications for many patients who relied on the pharmacies. The public was outraged by the brazen and violent acts of the teens, who showed no regard for the safety and well-being of others. Many people expressed their anger and frustration on social media, calling for harsher punishments and more accountability for the young offenders. Some also questioned the role of the parents and the society in preventing such crimes from happening. The teens will have to face the consequences of their actions in court, where they could face up to 14 years in prison if convicted. They will also have to deal with the stigma and shame of being involved in such crimes, which could affect their future prospects and opportunities. The teens may have thought that robbing pharmacies was an easy way to make money, but they soon learned that it was a costly mistake that they would regret for a long time.